South Australia weather conditions ease, river warnings remain in place. Photo: a soaked koala perches on a fence post at Stirling as floodwaters rise in the Adelaide Hills. Supplied, Russell Ladder. The South Australian government has announced relief funding for people affected by floodwaters around Adelaide as it estimates the damage bill will run into the millions of dollars. Premier Jay Weatherill said householders could now apply for $700 to help clean up their properties. So it may be getting some assistance in, and then overnight accommodation can also be provided, which will be in addition to that, he said. So there are a range of different pots of money which are available immediately to deal with immediate loss. Flood warnings remain in place for the Bremer, Gawler, and Onkaparinga rivers after South Australia was hit by heavy rainfall. Minor flooding is likely along the Gawler township, a warning states. Uraidla recorded just over 100 millimeters of rain to 9 a.m. this morning, a new record for the highest daily rainfall total for September in the Adelaide region. The Bureau of Meteorology also said it was Uraidla's second wettest day since 1890. Galway recorded its wettest day since 1974. Ashton received 100.2 millimeters, Craffers West 86.6 mm, Aldgate 66.2 mm, Bridgewater 64 mm, Belair 59 mm, and Lenswood 50.4 mm. SES crews received more than 800 calls for help overnight, with about 80 homes and businesses either inundated or damaged. Suburbs from the hills to the south, including Torrens Park, Waterfall Gully, Forestville, Hawthorne, and Old Norlanga were hit hard. New relief centres have been opened up for evacuated residents at Norlanga and Burnside, while centres at Aberfoyle Park and Glen Unga have been closed. About 40 roads remain closed, with Montacute Road at Montacute having been destroyed by the storm. The Adelaide Hills Council said Montacute Road would remain closed for several months for repairs. HOTO, Montacute Road has been severely damaged by floodwaters. ABC News, Nathan Stitt. SES spokesperson Terry Dwyer said crews were starting to get on top of jobs. Most of these jobs have been from flood damage, although there's been significant number of tree falls and also some salvage from water inundation around water properties, but also mudslides and washaways, he said. The flood threat for the Brownhill, Keswick, First and Second Creeks, and the Sturt River has now reduced. Dams and reservoirs at capacity. But Mr. Dwyer said many dams and reservoirs were at capacity. Because the rivers and creeks are saturated, it won't take that much rain before they start flowing again and eventually become a bit swollen, Mr. Dwyer said. Also of concerns is the fact that a number of our dams and reservoirs are at capacity now, and throughout the evening we found that a number of our dams and reservoirs had to release water. Video: floodwaters wreak havoc in Adelaide's inner south and on Fleurieu Peninsula, ABC News. Now that just adds to the swollen nature of the rivers and also inundation into residential areas. Craffers resident Russell Ladder told 891 ABC Adelaide he helped a soaked koala to safety yesterday afternoon as floodwaters were rising. He was a bit sad. He was sitting in the middle of the road, drenched to the bone, trying to work out what to do next, he said. I stopped and tried to coax him off the road so he didn't get into any more trouble. It was flowing very fast, so he had obviously climbed down from where he was and was trying to find his way to a tree that he knew, but he couldn't find a way past that flood water. He found his way to that fence post and got quite excited, so it must be on one of his pathways, and climbed up there quite happily and sat there for a minute. Mr. Ladder said the koala then crossed the floodwaters at a shallow spot and found his way up a familiar gum tree to rest.
Down this end, you can attach to that. So we attach one to then, one to that, and pick it to the roof.
That's ball man.